We're back for another edition of Your Palm Beach Guide. Of course, it's the Chamber of Commerce here in Palm Beach, the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, not to be confused with any other Chamber of Commerce. And as far as I'm concerned, the best Chamber of Commerce in the world. And we're back with a special edition today because we actually have a Chamber of Commerce award winner from last year, the Business of the Year, and a friend and somebody who supports so many things in the community. I can't think of anybody else in this region who does as much as this company does. Lou Fuoco is here with the Fuoco Group, known as TFG here in town, which is a lot of different entities. And he's an entrepreneur. His wife is an entrepreneur. He has lots and lots of employees, multiple locations all over the United States. So welcome. We're so glad you're here today. Thank you for coming in to be a guest on Your Palm Beach Guide today, Lou. And I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. It's very much appreciated, especially on a beautiful day like today in Palm Beach.
It's always a beautiful day in Palm Beach.
It's paradise.
Even with the rain, it's liquid sunshine. So Lou, talk to me about how you got to Palm Beach, the Palm Beaches, to have a company here. And I know the story because I've been told it a couple times by different people in your organization, but why Palm Beach? Why did you come here and why did you build a business here?
So it's a very funny story. I had no intention coming down to Florida originally. I was in the business of acquiring CPA firms, and there was a CPA firm that I was looking to acquire in Long Island. And every time I tried to reach out to the principal, he was down in Palm Beach.
Okay.
I got very friendly with the receptionist. Her name was Dawn. And I'd call up again, Dawn, can I speak with Bernie? Oh, I'm sorry, he's down in Palm Beach. So after a few times of doing this back and forth, I decided I'm going to fly down to Palm Beach, get into a hotel, and I'll call. And I'll call and wait till he's back in Palm Beach. And he turned out to be in Palm Beach at the next phone call when I arrived. And I said, okay, great. Tell him I'll meet him at Morton's, and we'll have dinner. And part of the process of acquiring him, he made it a requirement that we'd have an office down here in Palm Beach. And so through the negotiations, I started to look for an office space, and just to hang a shingle so that he'd have a place to sit. Sure. And it was on US 1, just north of the bridge, right where the golf course is. Sure. I think it's called Old Bay Court. Yep. Yeah, I think it was called Old Bay. Either way, Old Port. Either way, I purchased the practice, and then I purchased his practice. Oh. And this is going back now 16, 17 years ago.
Long time.
And he's retired out. And the funny story is that since day one that I acquired him till today, he's not spent 1 hour in that office.
Smart man.
Yeah. So I came down just to start the office, and I actually manned it with one of my partners in New York. He said he would move down to Palm Beach and he would run the Palm Beach office. And after a couple of years, he's got 5 girls, a wife, a couple of dogs, a cat. He said, I can't move down to Florida anymore.
Oh, geez.
So it was either I move down to Florida, build it, or just take the loss, pay the guy out because I've got a contract.
Sure. Right?
And I chose to come down. And once I came down, I started to see the opportunities, especially in West Palm Beach. I believe the mayor was Frankel at the time. And
I'm sure Lois Frankel.
A lot of activity.
Yes.
Right? And it reminded me of what was happening, what happened in Long Island, how Long Island grew. Mm-hmm. And so I saw an opportunity. I said, okay, if I'm going to make an investment here, I need to buy another accounting firm. So I contacted a number of consultants, and we found the accounting firm of Paul Weissneck and Tom Andres.
I remember that name, yes.
And they were just south of the bridge on US 1. It was perfect. So we acquired his practice. We moved the first practice over, and we began servicing clients. And while we were servicing clients, I started looking for opportunities. We acquired a practice in Boca. Mm-hmm. Then we acquired a practice in Miami. Mm-hmm. And then we acquired another practice in Margate. Okay. Melded offices together. And then there were a bunch of tuck-ins. And as we were building the practice, just like we did in New York, we were building a presence. Because when we first came down, they were like, Fuoco who?
Yeah.
We weren't using TFG at the time,
Of course,
right?
Of course.
He's a New York accountant, And so I had to get past that negative impression of, he's a New York guy. He's really not serious.
He's not a local, doesn't care.
So, I bought a house here. I bought a building here. I started to make an investment in the community and started getting involved. And with Paul and his connectivity, I found it was easier to pass trust along when you are going out with someone who has a long longevity in the area. And so he would introduce me to people, and it made it easier for them to trust me because I was Paul's partner, rather than going out and meeting someone and telling them my story. Oh, okay, and it was difficult to get that traction.
And you're just another accountant, and
That's
you
correct.
just moved here and starting a business, basically.
And so that became my model, even in the other locations. I made sure to buy a practice that the principal had a connected relationship, that they hadn't retired and where they weren't, really working it anymore. They were involved in chambers. They were involved in committee meetings. They had a center of influences. So we acquired those practices and made it easier in Broward, and made it easier in Miami. And Miami is a different world altogether.
Totally different, yeah.
Just like New
Different
York
market,
City, right?
Different market.
And it's something I love to do. I just love to, acquire and then create. And it's the old story. If you're perceived to be small, you're going to look for, or most likely land small clients,
Sure.
and hire less talented people. And the perception grows as you grow, right? So acquiring a firm, you're now a larger firm. The perception is you're larger, better. We're still the same guys,
Yeah.
right? But that perception is real. And so now you can land larger clients. You can attract better talent, and we just keep taking that step forward. So it's acquisition, organic growth, and we've grown substantially here over the 16 years in South Florida, especially in the Palm Beach area.
But it's fascinating to me because you just talked about accounting. You're more than accounting. You do a lot. That's why it's TFG, the Fuoco Group, because it's not just, I don't see you as an accountant, number one. Number two, with this discussion today, I see you as an entrepreneur, building and buying businesses. So what else have you done to expand your market share in different disciplines, is the word I would use? Because you're doing more than just accounting now.
Yeah, we are. We've always done more than just accounting. When I first started in the business as a entrepreneur, small practice, doing just mom and pop shops in Queens, New York.
Are you an accountant by trade?
I am a CPA by trade.
All right.
Yeah, and it's funny that you asked that question, because I used to have a debate with another CPA that I had acquired, and he was more academic, right? He believed that we worked in a profession. I believed that we worked in a business. And so I said, okay, you work in the profession of being a CPA, and I'll work in the business of the profession of a CPA. And so there's a big distinction between the two. Most CPA firms are CPAs. They're businesses, but they don't really treat themselves as a business. The larger firms do. They get it. They understand. We're not a very large firm. I never wanted to be a large firm, but I wanted to run it like a business. And when you look at your clients have more, wants than they do needs. They need a tax return. They need a financial statement, right, which is a historical financial statement that talks about what happened last year, right?
Sure.
It doesn't give them any information or any indication or any type of data about what they can do to improve their business going forward. So we started a business advisory component to the business.
Smart.
Where we would sit down with our clients, talk about their budget. They'd come in talking about a tax return. They want to ask a lot of questions, and by the time we're finished, we never talked about the tax return. We talked about their business. My questions would relate to, what's their gross margin? How do they determine their markup? And they really don't know. Most of these small businesses operate. They know their trade and they work their trade, but they don't understand the business of their trade. So we began working with them in that realm. They contact us for insurance. They contact us for going to the bank. Most of the clients, when I first started, were all Italian. They all spoke Italian. They come and say, hey, Luigi, I need you to take me to the bank. Luigi, can you take me to the insurance shop? Can you work with this lawyer for me, right? So I was their translator in many ways for different components of the business that they were not familiar with, and they needed to work with someone. And most of the requests were not really legal requests or banking requests. It's something that could have been done by anyone and then brought to an attorney or brought to the bank, like filling out an application. They didn't know how to fill it, so I would do it for them. Wow. But back then, that was part of my, my marketing, my stick. Let me help. If I help they'll keep coming back.
Sure.
And they kept referring in, right? And that was a free service we gave. And as we continued to grow, I realized the needs, underweighed the wants. They wanted someone to help them with their business. They wanted to grow. They wanted to acquire maybe another business. How do they acquire that business? What does the contract look like? They didn't want to just look at the lawyer. They wanted someone to help advise them.
Which, if you've never done it, is scary and difficult and complicated.
You know what? On both sides.
Yeah,
The seller
both sides,
has
yeah.
never sold a business before.
Didn't think about that.
Right?
Yeah.
And the buyer, well, maybe the buyer may have acquired a couple of businesses, but you got to be careful because the contracts, words mean something.
They do.
And there are consequences to those words, so you have to be really careful, especially when you negotiate the letter of intent. But again, they weren't familiar with that, and I helped them. And I realized there was a business within the business. And we started to separate that, and that became a separate component. And I didn't want it to be part of the accounting firm. So we opened up TFG Business Advisory. That's one of the tangents to the business. Wealth management is another tangent. A number of years ago, a good friend of mine, an accounting advisor by the name of Jay Nisberg, was able to convince the ASCPA and approximately 45 states, Board of Accountancies, to allow accountants to get involved in commission-based products with their clients.
Sure.
And New York and some of the other states, and I think Florida were the last ones to come on board, but it became very popular, and everyone was getting involved. And so I decided to get my license. I had to get my Series 7, I got my Series 63.
Which is not easy.
No, and but you take the test. If you want to make money, you gotta study. You gotta do what you gotta do. I got the license. I got the life and health as well, and I started to work for AXA, which was Equitable.
Right.
And I was doing well, right? But it became selling the flavor of the day, right? You go in for a meeting, they say, okay, here's our new product, and you need to sell it to your clients. And I felt I was no longer my client's advisor. I started to feel like a salesman again.
Sure.
And even though the money was good, I had to sit back because I could see the clients were feeling the change.
You're here on
right?
the sell.
Now I'm here just to get them to
Get the
buy
commission.
something.
Got to get it done.
That's right.
Which is awkward.
And the pressure from behind to get that done, was felt. So I made a decision that it wasn't the right time. I believe that there would be a right time in the future, but not if I'm earning a commission. If I can find a way to advise them with their money plans and get paid a fee, that would be great. So I walked away from a very lucrative, income to focus on the business, and that's when I decided that I wanted to grow the business. I wanted to triple or quadruple the size of the business, and that was all before the Florida play, right?
Okay.
And so this kind of yields in, but it wasn't until Florida that we started opening up all these new entities, and TFG Financial Advisors was born. We partnered up with a couple of different groups to see how it works. Those partnerships really didn't work out, but I learned a lot, right? I learned, what an RIA is, how it operates. I brought in my brother-in-law, who was working at a broker at the time, and he realized that that's not the way he wanted to sell either.
Sure.
And the fiduciary component of it became what we really wanted to push. And if we can help our clients make money, well, then we'll make money. And if they don't make money, then we don't make money, right? So it makes sense. So we had to bring in a team, and we connected with a nice group, and that's continued to grow. It's now 7 years old. Wow. We're now registered with the SEC, and we've more than, in the last 5 years, quintupled the size, and we're on target to triple again in the next year and a half.
So for you used the word organic a little while ago. It's been organic for you. I'm sure that at some point in time you said, this is the next step, but it feels to me like, and Lou, I know you, your people don't sell. It's referrals, it's kindness, it's just know who we are, see what we're doing.
It's all about education.
And so that's you're different, as you know, from many ways that the other firms who are out there on the sell, on the make to get it done. And that's one of the hallmarks that sets your folks apart. When you talk about starting this down here a long time ago. This market was not the dynamic market it is now.
No, it was not.
And with that statement, we all know that the advent of COVID pushed a lot of people here. So that worked for Palm Beach County and Palm Beach. It worked because so many people moved here, which is terrific. How have you had to change your business, knowing that there's hyper growth here? It's moving faster now than it's ever moved before. I'm shocked at how things change here so quickly. And this is like, I'm from Connecticut, long time ago, the land of steady habits. This is the land of steady habits down here also. Things just did not change. So I'm sure you see opportunity because I know you're an entrepreneur, but how has that changed for you in the way you structure into your business with your teams, with your people? And what do you see? It's a long question. What do you see as the growth potential for TFG and for you as an entrepreneur and a businessman?
Sure. To be honest with you, we really didn't change much in our business structure, even though there's a hyper growth here. A lot of Northerners have come down. Financial companies have come down. We continue to operate the way we do. However, our marketing and our business development strategies have changed.
How so?
A lot more on the communication side. So we are constantly sending out newsletter, email blasts. We're out in the community. We're talking about different topics. There's been a lot of change in tax law, and there's going to be more change again.
Exactly.
With COVID and all of the different crazy, the EIDLs and the all the money that's available, depending if you're a restaurant, if you're a healthcare. We had to learn that. We had to communicate that. It's all about just whether the client or prospect comes to us is not important, right? If we can educate you and we're telling you about something that you don't know about, and you could bring it back to your own accountant or your own life insurance broker or your own insurance guy, great. You'll remember that you learned it from someone.
Correct.
And somewhere in the future, there might be an opportunity where you're not happy, and then you'll make a phone call. We don't hard sell. I never believed in hard selling. We will go out and meet clients. And again, we will give first and hopefully receive it later. And it's been successful. But we believe that the M&A component of our business is really the biggest opportunity at this point in time.
Oh, really?
And the reason I say that is, I'm now 61. I'm one of the last.
You're a kid.
I'm a kid. I'm one of the last years of the baby boomer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So there's 15 years of baby boomers ahead of me that are all looking to retire in their accounting firms and in their RIAs.
True.
And they have not, put forth a succession plan. And most of these accountants you talk to, the only succession plan they have is to sell out and it's external. They didn't even prepare their business internally. God forbid they got sick or died. What's that business continuity plan? There's none. So we offer them business continuity with the opportunity to acquire them, or we'll just acquire them. And so we've launched now a very aggressive strategy on going after.
And not just here in Palm Beach.
Not just here in Palm Beach. We're talking about the entire Northeast coast.
Wow. That's incredible. And with the way the market has changed here, one of the things that I know about you and your family and your wife and your team is you're in the community all the time. And I know it's intentional. Mm-hmm. It's, as you said, by having the market presence people out there, people think of you, want to come to you. You support a lot of charities. It's incredibly generous what you do. Other firms and companies your size don't do that. And I've been here a long time. I've watched this. I've been here longer than most people. And it's intentional. But what's nice about it is you're doing good in the community because you really care. I know you. I know your wife. I know your team. Do you get business? Hopefully, yes. But that's not your intention. I believe it, and I'm not being nice to you. I believe it to be a spirit of generosity that doesn't exist with other family-owned companies, quite honestly.
No, thank you. And it's true.
Yeah, it's amazing because you're everywhere all the time.
I feel very fortunate. I'm a very lucky man to be where I am right now, starting off, really penniless, right? Because mom and dad came from the other side.
Wow.
They had to work really hard to get me through school. And even though I'm more entrepreneurially spirited, I've been fortunate to get to where I am. And I believe in giving. I've always, contributed when I didn't have money, right?
Sure.
But we give up our time. We give up our money.
Your money.
Right? But I have to say that it's all about the people in my office as well, because they all contribute as well. I'm not the face that's always out there, right? I used to be the face that was always out. Now you'll see Josh Norris, and you see Susan Kaplan all over the place.
Secret weapon.
Yeah, she's my secret weapon. But Tony Casarino, and it's really about them. It's about their team. You know, the team itself has grown in Florida. I guess because of the way we care, they love that as well. And they've been able to grow, and they are now becoming generous. And they're involved in a lot of different community events, especially the non-for-profits. And my wife, Krista, well, I can't say enough about her because, she's a leader in that.
She is.
Yeah.
She is. And she's out there a lot. And, we hope we'll have her on one of our podcasts because she's an entrepreneur also.
She is.
And she owns her own company. And I know what the company is. We'll talk about it when we get her in here. But it's amazing what she's done there. So we want to continue. We've got some time left, which I want to continue. I have more questions for you. But if you're just tuning in or just turning on or whatever, it's your Palm Beach Guide. It's a project of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce where it's always sunny and always wonderful. So if you want to come visit, please come visit. We'd love to have you here. I'm Doug Evans, the president and CEO. And with me today is Lou Fuoco. TFG is the name of his company, which is the Fuoco Group. Right. They do all kinds of great things. And now we're talking about the strategy for market mergers and acquisitions. I am a little bit older than you, but I'm on the very edge of that baby boomer group also. And I'm seeing that transition. And you made me think, Lou, in this conversation, you made me think of a firm I know where a person's getting ready who owns it to transition out. I don't know, they just got a plan, quite honestly. And he's been my personal accountant for 35 years.
Right.
And I hear it in his voice, and I love him. He's the nicest man. But that's an opportunity for you. So you've got that opportunity where you're looking nationally on the East Coast for M&As. But also here, as this market continues to grow, I've got to think there's got to be more acquisitions for you here in this region, especially with the huge influx of more people coming here into the Palm Beaches. I mean, I have to say who, but there's my question is there opportunity here for a lot of people they just want to think about it and come here for the future in this specific market?
Oh, beyond the accounting firms, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity. I've been fortunate to invest in other businesses as well outside of TFG Financial Advisors, TFG Business Advisory, the Fuoco Group, TFG Accounting and Tax, and a whole bunch of other TFGs. Those are my little babies that all come together.
Payroll company,
right?
You bought a payroll company a year ago.
Yeah, your payroll solutions, right?
Yeah.
And so that again, those are all of the different services that we want to be able to provide to our clients, not dictate to them, but to have available if they want.
Sure.
But I've gotten involved in manufacturing. I've gotten involved in boat lift manufacturing, HVAC manufacturing, construction, where I've made investments with clients that have come from New York or Connecticut or somewhere in the north, have come down and wanted to open up a business. And I saw the opportunity of what they could do, so I contributed my time and money and became a partner. In some cases, it's a minority interest. Some cases, it's an equal.
And those three things you just named are so hot here.
Tremendously hot.
I mean, big. And so from your core business, because they're your clients, you invest in their business. And those are three sectors right now that are just going to continue to grow exponentially the next decade.
That is correct.
I think at least the next decade.
Don't forget real estate development.
Yeah,
right. Because
huge.
you have homes being built. We even invested up in Polk County, 22 homes, of which we've been able to sell 11 homes so far. Unfortunately, we started it just before COVID, right? And then COVID hit and everything got delayed.
But look at the rewards you've got for sticking with it and having a vision to think that you could maybe make some money in that area.
I forget what they say. How many people are moving into Florida on a daily basis?
1,000 people a day.
1,000 people a day. Let's just think about that. There's a lot of land still, and Palm Beach seems to be now pretty much absorbed with, but I think we can bring in more people. There's more opportunity for business.
And if you don't know the area, if you're watching and listening, you go west of about a few miles west of Interstate 95, and it's land.
Oh, it's all
you go
land.
north, it's not all the Everglades. It's just it's land that's buildable land.
Yes.
And there are infrastructure challenges here as far as traffic, but that will all get settled in the future. And I believe, Lou, and I'm a cheerleader for where we live. I love where I live. plan on being here until the day I can't live, I guess is the word. But there's smart growth here in Palm Beach County as opposed to other counties.
Correct.
They're thinking about congestion, they're thinking about traffic. It's a business-friendly environment. And there are people who are working at the highest level to make Palm Beach County the next Silicon Valley because companies are leaving the West Coast because it's a business tax-friendly environment. So I would think, like you said, construction, boat lifts, which I think is hysterical, HVAC, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah. And I don't know how you do this because you're the expert, but a lot of private equity companies are buying like pool cleaning companies and putting them together. So there's
landscaping companies.
And landscaping companies.
So the more people move in, the more services are needed, right? Yeah. And so you're going to see a big boom in different operations, whether it's a supermarket or a Dunkin' Donuts, or it could be an HVAC service company, electrical, plumbing. There's more accounting services needed, more financial wealth services, more insurance services are going to be needed. So it'll continue to grow as people continue to come down. And we're talking about, Broward County, right? We're talking about Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County goes down from Boca all the way up to Jupiter.
Correct.
That's a large mass of property.
I think it's the largest county in Florida, and it's the third largest in the United States as far as land mass, I believe. Yeah. I might be wrong, but it's pretty darn close to all of that.
Well, we're talking to 5 different accounting firms right now in the state of Florida, from Miami all the way up to Jacksonville, right? And so we're looking, West Coast as well. With Tampa, we'd be interested in Tampa, but we're talking to firms in Orlando. There's growth everywhere. Jacksonville's
huge.
Orlando's hot. It's a tough area to do business in Orlando, but it's hot. Vero is growing. Was it Fort Pierce? I think we were talking to a firm there, but Tampa is definitely an area. But Palm Beach, there's so much opportunity in the Palm Beach area. We're talking to 2 firms in Palm Beach right now, and they're all baby boomers.
Yeah.
Nice size accounting practices, but they never developed that second level team. And if they did, they can't trust that they're going to get paid out.
Correct.
Right?
They're not. So that person might not have the passion for the business they built,
or the money to be able to pay. Right? Yeah. Or the ability to sustain the business so that they can pay them out. We've been doing this for now 20 years, and we look for small businesses, not extremely large businesses, and we've been able to demonstrate and show them through proof and talking to some of the retirees that we pay everyone out. It doesn't always work out exactly the way they want.
Sure.
Sometimes it works out better.
Okay.
And sometimes it works out less, right? Because clients maybe were just waiting and ready to leave.
Sure. And
because they've been with them so long, they take the opportunity, well, my nephew or my friend, or you're too far from us, or this firm is too big. So there will be attrition. In some cases, you find some gems in the client base that accountant wasn't able to service because all they did is focus on tax returns and their write-up. And then you find that the wants that they have, right, and you start servicing those wants, and you can grow, and help them grow a bit. I took one client recently. He was doing about $30 million in business. He's doing $180 million now, and we're servicing them. And the old retiree, I hate to say old, but the retiree.
He's retired.
He's retired. He thanks me every day because he got paid on all of that growth.
That's amazing. Yeah. I was giving a tour to somebody who's a new chamber member this last week and driving around my car. It's so funny. He said, boy, the landscaping business must be huge here. And I said, yes, because it's a subtropical environment and stuff grows 12 months a year. And it's got to be cut back once a week.
Right.
So it's huge. It's a competitive industry, like accounting, like financial services, but there's enough to go around. The amount of hospitals moving here and medical facilities, there's enough sick people here to go around, basically. So do you consider yourself now, and you got the offices in the Northeast Long Island, do you consider yourself to be a Florida company now?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm a Florida resident. I'm a Floridian. I even tried to tell my wife that my accent, I lost my New York accent. and she looked at me like I was crazy. And she goes, why do you think that? I says, because you don't sound funny anymore. She's born and raised here in Florida.
I didn't realize that. That's great.
And the funny thing is that, when people meet her, they think she's from Long Island because she picked up my accent.
Oh, gee, that's funny. That's
funny.
So how have you found, Lou, as you grow your businesses, how have you found being able to find good people quality people? Because I understand that that's a real challenge for employers. You've got a lot of people working for you and a lot of divisions with your acquisitions. Are you finding it difficult to hire the right smart people to grow your company who fit within your culture? Because you've got a very specific culture. It's a family culture that people care about each other. Are you finding it hard to find people to fit into that mosaic you've built?
Yeah, it's not easy. These are difficult times, especially in our industry. But our model has been to find them young, get them on as interns. Most of my young second generation partners were all interns.
Wow.
And so they were bred within the firm, but when you need to hire someone because of growth, it's really difficult to find that person. And what's happening now without all the outsourcing, and it's a tremendous business in and of itself, whether you're outsourcing to India or you're outsourcing to South Africa.
Philippines.
All the large firms have offices there now. And what will probably happen, it's cyclical, right? I've seen this happen many times in the last 33 years. You'll see that as they continue to hire overseas, they're letting go of qualified opportunities. And those qualified opportunities still come in expensive.
Sure.
Eventually, it's going to level out, and they'll be plentiful. But right now, we're working with interns, and we teach them and we train them, and some make it, some don't. And those that do, we keep on. And
They never leave, I hope.
They don't leave.
It's with you, it's smart growth. It's not just growth, it's smart growth. And when you think about people outsourcing things, one of the things that we can all see on television daily is the credit card companies who are global saying, U.S.-based customer service.
Yeah.
Because we've all had that, make the phone call, and it's like, hello,
right.
Where am I? I always ask who I'm talking to. And usually people are very, very nice. They're very competent and capable. But when I bump into somebody that isn't, I say, I want to be transferred back to your U.S. call center, which is a law. It used to be a law. I'm assuming it's still a law. If you request it, they have to send you back to a U.S.-based customer service center.
Right.
And so for me, that's been very helpful. I didn't know that. I learned it from an attorney, and then you get things done. But you're hiring people locally. The business you're acquiring, you would hire local to that market. You pick a company in Georgia or the East Coast or Jersey or wherever. You'll hire people that are local to that market. So for me, watching you, it's smart growth. And I didn't know until today that you've invested in other businesses that are not even close to accounting and financial services. And that's smart. That's very, very smart growth. What advice would you give to other people listening here who are younger entrepreneurs? Some sage words of advice based on the successes and failures. We've all had failures. But what would you recommend to somebody? I happen to believe this is the best market in the United States right now, and for at least the next 4 years with the president living here in Palm Beach to invest in this market. So what would you tell people?
I guess the only thing I could say is, to be dedicated, persistent, and to earn their PhD. And what I mean by PhD, which was dubbed by Rick Pitino, P for passion, H for hard work, and D for dedication. I look for employees that have PhD. I don't care if they're a 4.0 index or a 3 or a 2.5, right? If they've got passion for what they're doing, and they're willing to put the hard work in, and they're dedicated to the cause, they'll be successful. And there'll be a lot of ups and downs, and you just have to persist. And if you really love your business, you will.
Good, I love that. My first mentor back in 1985, which was ancient history, I got my MBWA from him, management by walking around.
There you go.
And when I would walk through, I was running a huge performing arts center. It was double the size of the Kravis Center here in West Palm Beach. And I would come out of the Ivory Tower office, the executive suite as the CEO, and I would walk around. And they were shocked to see me because, like, what did I do wrong? What's going on here? It's like, no, I just want to know what you're doing and how you do it because I respect it. I don't know how to do it. But I feel that you, as a CPA, everything you've gotten into with your Series 6 and things, you literally know what your people are doing because you've had to do it. And you've wanted to do it, and you've learned it. I learned how to with the unions. I had 3 unions. I learned exactly what they did, and I, to this day, have profound respect for the Teamsters, the stage employees, the people who do the costumes and stuff. I have profound respect because I could never do it. But I know what they do.
Right.
So it's MBWA. You've got PhD, so you're ahead of me. I've got the MBWA, and it's amazing. Lou, thank you for coming in today. I love your story. More importantly, I love what you're doing in the community because as the Chamber of Commerce, I see your secret weapon, Susan Kaplan, out there at every event. 24/7, 365. I see you out there. I see your wife, Krista, out there. I see your senior leadership showing up to things. And what's nice about it, Lou, is you've set in the DNA an expectation that you have joy when you're doing it. And they show up not because Lou said I had to. They show up because they want to.
Right.
And I love that. And so to me, it's amazing. So thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
You've been listening and watching Your Palm Beach Guide. I'm Doug Evans. I'm the president and CEO of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. We'd love to have you here. Come visit, come like Lou Fuoco, come build an empire, start a business, get married here, have kids here, get a house with a pool, go to the beach, whatever. But come to the Palm Beaches. It's a great place. It's sunny. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the sunniest, nicest place 365 days a year. So thanks so much, Lou. We'll see you around town.
Thank you.